Today is the last time that I will have the honor of opening a legislative session as your speaker. As we consider the work before us, I want to reflect on a subject that has been on my mind lately: opportunity. Opportunity can be powerful. It can happen at places and at times that you least expect. It can be hidden in terrible circumstances and not reveal itself until far later. On New Year's Eve in 1983, I was gifted one of the greatest opportunities anyone could hope for. At the time, I had no idea. I was 4.5 years old. Most of us don't have specific memories of our childhood before the ages of 4. Even between the ages of 4 and 6, much of our childhood memories remain fragmented and vague. In fact, according to the widely regarded source, Wikipedia, it isn't about until the age 6 that our autobiographical memories start to take hold. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't remember anything from our childhoods. All of us have memories from our early childhoods that are vivid. These memories are often associated with a strong feeling or an emotion that was felt at the time. As we age, these memories fade into the background, not gone, but dormant, until something brings us back to that moment. For some, it might be a smell, like a familiar cologne or a perfume. For others, it might be a memorable song. For me, one of my memories is sparked by the sight of an object. By the time I was 7, my mother and I had moved 4 times. While the places we lived in changed, there was one thing that did not. If you looked around each one of these homes, you would have found the same framed leaflet prominently displayed on one of the walls. My mother was handed this leaflet in 1973, and the text on it reads, "Rally together to impeach Nixon." This flyer, in its thin black frame, has been hung in each of my mother's homes during all 44 years of my life. And every time I see this flyer, I am transported back to a specific memory of my childhood. For me, it symbolizes opportunity and the start of a journey. On that New Year's Eve in 1983, I got the opportunity of a lifetime. That was the day my mother went to her first AA meeting. I was a few months away from my 5th birthday, and it was a gift that to this day is unmatched by any other. My mother quit her job so she could attend AA meetings and started cleaning houses and businesses to make ends meet. For me, this meant sometimes sleeping on the couch of a hair salon while she cleaned. It also meant frequently going to the local Alano Club. This did, however, have its perks. After scores of quarters and some light mentoring by a man also named Dan, I became a formidable Miss Pac-Man player. This journey, as you can imagine, had its ups and downs. I personally saw and felt the raw feelings and anger that someone goes through as they get sober. It also had some of the best memories that I've ever had with my mother during those times. I saw my mother giving back to the recovery community by mentoring others as they themselves sought recovery. She dragged me to protest and introduced me to how political discourse can affect broader change in this world. I saw her start an accounting business and later be named Entrepreneur of the Year. She taught me the things in life that school doesn't teach you: thinking without boundaries, the importance of introspection, how to process difficult times in life, and that challenging authority can be healthy, although I probably lent on that a little bit too much as a youth. To this day, I still learn from her as I watch her with my son Adam. The bond between the two of them is something I'm jealous of. Every time I see that leaflet hanging on the wall in my mother's house, I am instantly taken back to an evening in my childhood. An evening when I saw my mother doing drugs on that same framed leaflet. The leaflet for me is a constant reminder of how grateful I am to have her in my life and the opportunities that I have had solely due to her recovery. The biggest issues facing our state right now are a housing and homeless crisis and the addiction crisis in each of our communities. These issues will be the focus of our work this session. And I mention this story because behind every face of addiction, behind every person experiencing homelessness, there is a friend, there is a father, there is a mother, there is a son, there is a daughter. There is a story of hope and opportunity in each one of these individuals. There is a story of a struggling single mother who later in recovery would serve as an inspiration and an incredible life educator for someone like myself. Someone who now serves that exact same role for her grandson. Right now, for too many, that opportunity, that hope is buried, obscured by pain, poverty, and addiction, and even, if visible, out of reach. Our most important job, our obligation, this session is to turn the corner. We must continue making progress on housing supply and homelessness. This means focusing on a broad range of solutions, from immediate supports to get people off the streets and into homes, to building more housing more quickly. Having a place to call home is foundational for opportunity in life. We can and must pass a comprehensive plan to urgently address the addiction crisis that our communities are facing. Law enforcement needs the tools to confiscate hard drugs like meth and fentanyl, while at the same time helping to transition people off the streets and into recovery. We must find a way to provide the right supports, the right incentives at the right times, so that others can realize an opportunity for a better future. And while we work to find that right balance, I want to share with you a question that I've been personally struggling with. How would our lives, my mother and mine, been different if she had been arrested and prosecuted under the criminal justice system of the 1980s? One that didn't have off-ramps for treatment like the proposals we're considering here in this legislature. Would I be here at this podium with you today? How would it have affected my son and his relationship with my mother? I do not have answers to these questions, but what I do know is that we must do better, much better than the failures of our past. I also know that all of us have the same focus as we sit here today. We all agree we need more housing. We all agree that individuals and families suffering from addiction need more supports. And we all agree that everyone must feel safe in their communities. 35 days is not a long time for a legislative session. We must remain focused on why we are here and who we are here to help. We can never give up on the folks that are trying to find their foothold in life. As we take up these issues, once again, I ask all of us, Democrats and Republicans, to put aside our partisan differences. Now, I'm not asking for much, just 35 days. We'll have plenty of time to beat each other up during the elections. Over the last 2 years, we've done a lot in this chamber to build a culture of respect. Have I always gotten it right? Absolutely not. But we've made significant progress on demonstrating to Oregonians how elected officials can, if they choose, operate and govern with respect for each other and remain focused on the issues that matter most in our communities. We can pass every single piece of legislation in the world to improve democracy, but I believe it's how we act within these walls, how we treat each other within these walls, how we heal together after difficult conversations that matter most when it comes to having a strong and effective democracy. I recently met with a downtown business owner in Portland. He was a young man that had started an apparel business based on and built off of the appeal and uniqueness of the city of Portland. He didn't shy away from the struggles the city was facing. But as we walked around Portland, I couldn't help but be struck by this individual. If we just did this, if we just did that, I have an idea. His belief in a better future was not a matter of speculation. It was certainty. He didn't shy away from the struggles so apparent all around us. But instead of despairing, instead of complaining, he was searching for opportunity, even the ones that might not be apparent, as they weren't apparent to a 4-year-old in 1983. Which brings me back to my mother. Her life, her impact on others, is best described by something Mother Teresa once said. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. On your desk, you'll find a personalized stone. These are stones from the banks of the Willamette River in Corvallis. They are meant to symbolize the collective ripples we can create by working together and respecting each other. The eyes on the stones are also from Corvallis, the Corvallis Michaels store. They are a reminder that Oregonians who sent us here are watching what we do and how we do it. The impacts of what we do this session will have the ability to create positive ripples and opportunities for families and communities across this state for years to come. In that spirit, let's collectively, figuratively throw our stones, not at each other, but into the waters of our state, our future, and get to work.